Hi, hello, and welcome to the video. My name's Danahan, this is Overthinking Anime, and Kado The Right Answer is a series you should watch if you enjoy series like Code Geass, Hetalia, No Game No Life, Eden of the East, School Lives, Attack on Titan, and or Jinro and the Wolf Brigade. Or enjoy... well, we'll get into that genre more in a moment. Kado The Right Answer is a simple slice-of-life anime following a skilled business negotiator and government bureaucrat, Shindo, as he works on what should be a simple assignment to negotiate the offer of a plot of land. However, something doesn't sit quite right with Shindo, as the assignment had been in cold storage for years, until it was given to him and told to have closed ASAP. Despite the pressure from higher-ups to seal the deal, Shindo starts looking deeper into the assignment. And as he does, he quickly discovers the truth behind why such a rush order had been put on it. After a month of no news from Shindo, the higher-ups get impatient and go there to do it themselves, only to discover Shindo had gone over his head to stop the deal from going through, with Shindo soon after leaving their employment and being sent abroad. Kado The Right Answer can be enjoyed in both sub and dub, and is a self-contained single season made up of 13 episodes. If I had to pick a drawback, it would be the series is made up of animation made up of a blend of 2D and 3D characters, and there are times where it doesn't quite mesh and you can see from one shot to the other the switch between 2D and 3D, or the janky interactions of 3D interacting with 2D, but the best character award in the series has to go to this girl. She shows up at the end of the negotiation after the higher-ups had shown up. She has no lines, and this is the first time she shows up in the series. And she's just there. It's great. So, why should you watch the series? I'm not going to say this is the best anime ever. It's not. And honestly, it is kind of mid, actually. But it's still a pretty good anime. And it takes an interesting twist on a mundane subject and brings a deeper discussion of philosophy and existentialism. And if you've got an evening free and you don't know what to watch, I'd recommend Kado The Right Answer. However, the big reason you should watch the series is everything I've just told you all happens in the first episode of the series. And what happens after the first episode, trust me, this is a series worth watching blind, and if you haven't experienced it, go and watch it, and then come back and watch the rest of the video, as the story took a turn in a direction that I doubt anyone going into it blind at least, expected. But if you have already watched the series, or don't mind being spoiled on one of the pretty good twists I've experienced in anime, keep watching, and beware, spoilers. Kado The Right Answer is a series about a skilled negotiator negotiating the deal of a small plot of land owned by a factory man. Then this happens!
Hey, Shindo? Do you see that too? What's on me? Help! Shindo, get it off! I can't get it off! Help, Shindo! Please help me! Shindo!
Flight 256, this is Tower. Come in, 256. Do you copy? Can you hear me? Come in.
Kado The Right Answer is a series about first contact with a fifth dimension being known as Yahakui Sashihina, and the negotiation of what it has to offer. The series is made up of 13 episodes and can be enjoyed in both sub and dub. The actual series is fine. Kado is kind of similar to Oppenheimer, the movie, not the person. It's a good series, but it's not really a series I would say is entertaining or enjoyable. It definitely has its moments, but instead it's a fascinating piece of media that gives a realistic depiction of what discussions that would be had with such a fundamental change to the world when such events would occur on a microscopic time frame in which mass advancements are offered. Basically, imagine if aliens came to Earth tomorrow and granted us the knowledge of how to fix all the problems in the world currently, how to utilize deep space traversal, and how to utilize planetary terraforming. Yahakui introduces something so simple and so mundane from its perspective, but from our perspective as humans, it is something beyond our scope of understanding. In essence, imagine if you travelled back to 1876 and showed a smartphone to Alexander Graham Bell. With time, it's a piece of technology he could comprehend, but it's not something that he can understand. That is essentially what is happening in Kado The Right Answer. And I sort of ended up going on a massive tangent here, so check out the video in the description or maybe in the eye to hear about how I don't understand how cameras work. Kado The Right Answer is a series I've watched a few times. And I think the reason I enjoy it so much is the fundamental core of the series revolves around new knowledge and seeking new knowledge. The act of learning the realistic consequences of such action, and, as I go into later, the relatability of the characters. And you know, I like knowledge. Probably more than Tai Lopez likes knowledge.
Knowledge.
Kado falls into a genre that I call divergent realism, which is to say it's a series that starts out completely grounded in reality until the thing happens and humanity has to learn to adapt to the new fundamentally changed world, which goes against the previously established definitive rules of the universe, with the series focusing around the time of the event. Death Note is a good example of this. The world Light lives in is the same as ours, and had Ryuk not intervened, the world would have continued down that path of realism. However, in dropping the Death Note into the world, the series diverges from realism into fantasy. However, the real world still exists beyond that point. People still have a 9 to 5, and people still have problems. As well as the series Parasite the Maxim, an example of humanity living the everyday life until a possibly alien-originating spore threatens humanity and dethrones them from the top of the food chain. Whereas series like My Hero Academia, Well Trigger, or Black Bullet are series that are set after the realism divergent and have already altered the world to the unnatural state, and that where the everyday had become supernatural and realism had taken a backseat to fantasy. Kado tells the story of what would happen if a godlike being came to Earth and more or less offered to fix all our problems by giving humanity access to fifth dimensional powers, infinite renewable energy, the ability to never need to sleep again, and the ability to alter gravity. The series is made up of a mix of 2D and CG animation, and while the CG animation is somewhat janky and obvious, for a series like Kado, I think it works pretty well and is the perfect animation for such a story. A higher dimension of animation being placed on top of a lower dimension of animation. 3D placed on 2D. Kado the Cube, not the series, is something that could have never been done in 2D. While there is no definitive answer to whether any of them are, I think one of the reasons I keep coming back to this series is Shindo, Shinowa, Yahakui, and Saraka are interesting takes on what one could consider to be autistic or neurodivergent individuals, each with many personality traits commonly associated with autism or neurodivergency. As an autistic being, somewhere between neurocommon and high-functioning autism, I have the ability to look at Yahakui's actions and understand where he's coming from and why he would want to do what he does. But at the same time, I'm able to comprehend why humanity reacts the way they do. Basically, it's like rewatching Attack on Titan with the knowledge of all the events in the series. You can see both sides, you can understand both sides, and whether or not you agree with the actions, you can't fault them for what they did. Yahakui introduces the worms to humanity, a device of infinite renewable clean energy, and expects humanity to share them with the world in a unified nature where everyone holds hands and sings Kumbaya, because that would be how Yahakui and his kind, the Anisotropics, would act, sharing everything for the unified goal of advancement. The more people who have the worms, the more society will advance. However, humans being, well, humans, this isn't what happens. Instead, the series does address the social economic aspect of Japan solely possessing the worms and the discussion of who should have jurisdiction over them, as well as addressing the fact that infinite power could irreparably damage the atmosphere through heat consumption, while also bringing up the rejection of planet-wide use of the worms from countries who had a monetary incentive, such as certain countries who have an iron-clasped grip on the monopoly of oil distribution, which unfairly benefits them in any trade deal. Go figure. Those who face the possibility of losing their unimpeached stronghold over the world, which gives them an unfair advantage, reject that which would put them on an equal playing field. You know, when I was originally writing this script, it was probably back in October 2024. It was before the American electoral president vote had happened. Now here in 2025, that little bit of snarky commentary is hitting a little too close to home, isn't it? I'm scared. I'm legitimately scared of what the future holds. This is terrifying. I have no idea what the world's going to be a year from now, and it scares me. I'll be completely honest. So, yeah. This video is probably going to cut a bit deeper than I meant it to. I originally wanted to make it just a little, hey, here's a fun little video of the week kind of thing, and discussing the topics that it does in the new world of the American system, and those who are in charge, and those who will be in charge, and all that. This series gets a bit too real, doesn't it? Even though the worms could produce unlimited clean energy for the world and every single person on Earth, the trade-off to helping billions is a handful of multi-billionaires might have to go down to being slightly smaller multi-billionaires. Oh no! Such a hard choice to make! Which one should we do? I can't think of what to do! Man, the next line I'm about to read out, like, oh man, it cuts. This cuts too deep at this point, but yeah, it's true. It's almost as if the series brings up the too real subject of the fact the world is run by corrupt, self-centered, pathetic individuals who, despite claiming they're looking to help the world, would rather let billions of people massively suffer so they don't have to minutely suffer a small change that would still leave them with more money than any person actively trying to burn through their money could ever spend in their lifetime. Yeah. I want to make fun videos talking about anime in fun ways. Hey, here's a series that kind of hits way too close to home and covers some real world topics that... I don't know, man. Someone say hitting a little too close to home? Yeah, probably. This is the reality, though. If this did happen in the real world, even if we found a cure for the world, I talk more about it later, so I'll wait for then. But yeah, this series hitting a little too close to home, isn't it? Kado isn't really a series you can define. It's sort of like in a nice Detroit construct. Instead, whether or not intentional, I think Kado exists as a medium to lay the table for a philosophical discussion wrapped up in the disguise of an anime. Questions such as what the cost of fixing the world would actually cost, which I did originally include in this video, but ended up being big enough that it got a video of its own, and you should go check it out after this one. It's kind of depressing, actually, that video. I made it before, you know, the president became the president, so it was kind of less depressing, but now that the president is the president, it's a bit more real all of a sudden. Keep entertaining. Make fun videos. It's to be escape from the reality of the world. That's what YouTube is. Broadcast yourself. Have some fun. Don't worry about the big problems of the world. Watch this video and get massively depressed. What am I doing with my life? or what the pursuit of knowledge would actually cost. I briefly joked about it at the start of this video, but the journey of what led to the creation of the atomic bomb didn't start out as someone trying to make the atomic bomb. Instead, scientists were simply doing science and accidentally stumbled upon a way to split the atom, which led to the creation of the deadliest product man has ever created. Kado The Right Answer is a series which shows the reality of humanity's greed and how most problems humanity face aren't single solution problems, but exist as multi-layered problems which can't just be fixed by addressing the most glaring aspect of it. Or rather, in doing so, would resolve the problem while creating a chain reaction of much larger problems, and because of that, I can't wrap this video up in a nice tidy bow. Instead, I want to end this on a more serious note. Humanity will never be unified. There will always be those who want more. And even if humanity were offered the solution to all the world's problems on a silver platter, there would still be those who reject it for various reasons. Most likely stemming from the fact that such a solution would most likely remove their unfair advantage of many of those in power. And as depressing as it may be, nothing anyone does in the modern labour and resource-heavy society we have created can change the fact that humanity is destroying Earth. No matter what we do, Earth is becoming less and less sustainable every day. While we can't stop this from happening, we can slow it. And we can try and do what we can to try and make the world a little better. The obvious one is recycling, but that isn't just limited to sorting your waste into recyclable and trash. Wait a few weeks before buying that brand new game or anime. Chances are you can get it a lot cheaper secondhand if you just wait a few weeks. And in a lot of cases nowadays, if you buy a game on release, you're paying full price for an unfinished item that won't be patched for at least a month. But that is a discussion for another video. But also, pop into your local charity shops, browse the items they have. You can get secondhand clothes and furniture with minimal wear and tear for a fraction of the price. And it helps prevent that which otherwise would have ended up in landfill be reused. And if you have old clothes or items you don't use anymore, take them to the charity shop. If you're thinking about buying some junk food you don't really want, or are just bored or just want food, either save that money or use it to offer to buy a rough sleep or a meal. Instead of turning the heating on, just grab a jumper or blanket. You're at home. No one can judge you for walking around in a blanket. And if they do, tell them to get the hell out of your house. Buy smart. If you need a new appliance, see if there's an eco-friendly or energy-efficient version. And if it's in your budget, consider it. Learn the basics of cooking and it will save you so much money and prevent you from needing to buy food wrapped in non-biodegradable plastic. My go-to meal is a spicy chicken pasta bolognese. It is literally just chicken breast, pasta savor sauce, fresh chili and garlic, ground cayenne pepper, and various seasoning and herbs. And for £13.46, I can make 12 400-gram portions, which breaks down to £1.12 per portion. It's super easy to make, and you can cook in bulk or meal prep for a few days, or cook all 12 portions at once and freeze them for the rest of the month. Just make sure you have space in your freezer. If you are walking down the street, if you see any rubbish, just pick it up and put it in the nearest bin. If you see someone who may need your help, if you have the time, offer them 5 minutes of it. Chances are they won't even need a minute of it. And while donating to massive charities is a good thing, see what local charitable acts you can do that will have more impact on your local area, more than a donation. See if there's a soup kitchen that needs volunteers. Search up if there's a local town cleaning group who goes around picking up litter. And if you can, donate blood in times of non-emergencies. When disasters happen, people flock to donate blood. But often, so much blood is donated that most of it goes to waste. However, in the weeks or months after the disaster, people still need blood, so donate regularly. If you're able to, maybe set up one day a month where you can just go and donate. One person doing this won't change the world, but it will change lives. And if enough people do it, it will affect the world. Kado The Right Answer is an interesting series, and I think it raises so many questions that lead to a much larger discussion. So let's have that discussion. If you want to help out your local environment, do something about it. If you can help out those in need, do so. And if you know someone that is struggling, don't try and fix their problems. Just be there for them. For now, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I haven't really enjoyed it, I'll be honest. It's kind of been a bit depressing, but you know, that's the realism of talking about such subjects. So until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.